In our last video, we explored the extreme billionaire life of Saudi royalty, where power is inherited. But today, this story is different. This is not about someone born into control. It's about someone who built it, a man who turned an empty desert into one of the most powerful cities on earth. His influence isn't limited to palaces. It's written into skylines, into systems, into global ambition. When wealth reaches this level, luxury becomes infrastructure, and power becomes permanent. So ask yourself this: does his world match what you imagine, or does it go far beyond it? In this video, we will reveal how absolute power is designed, scaled, and embedded into a city built to dominate the future. Power at the highest level doesn't need to be loud. It needs to be precise. For Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, that precision begins at Zabil Palace, a place designed not to impress, but to control. From the moment you approach, the world seems to slow down. The streets grow quieter. Movement becomes intentional. Access is reduced to necessity alone. High walls don't just protect what's inside. They define who belongs and who doesn't. Nothing here is random. Security layers operate without visibility. Distances are calculated. Silence is maintained. Even the emptiness surrounding the palace sends a message. Authority does not compete for attention. It removes distractions entirely. Inside, luxury appears as confirmation rather than display. Custom interiors, refined materials, and perfectly balanced spaces exist to reinforce permanence, not excess. This is where leaders and power brokers sit without spectacle, shaping outcomes that never make headlines. But this environment is only the foundation, because power like this is not meant to stay behind walls. Once the gates close, it moves with him, extending far beyond the palace grounds. And next, we follow how that control travels when it leaves home. Luxury reaches a different meaning when it no longer waits for celebration. When excess stops being intentional and simply becomes routine. For Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the smallest moments of the day are never left unshaped. Inside the palace, mornings unfold with the discipline of a ritual rather than the ease of habit. Breakfast is not prepared, it is orchestrated. Ingredients arrive from distant regions, chosen for rarity rather than necessity. Textures, colors, and placement are considered long before the first bite is taken. Nothing here exists by coincidence. Even simplicity is engineered. Light reflects softly off polished surfaces. Cutlery feels weighted, deliberate, ceremonial. An ordinary meal becomes a quiet statement of scale. Yet what defines these moments is not display, but control. Despite the refinement, they are rarely shared with an audience. No cameras, no spectacle, just calm, family, and time moving without urgency. At this level, luxury no longer seeks attention. It assumes it. Stories surrounding these routines drift through private circles. Tales of single ingredients costing more than most homes, not as indulgence, but because limits have quietly disappeared. When everyday life already operates at this scale, boundaries dissolve entirely. And if this is how stillness looks behind palace walls, the question becomes unavoidable. How does power move when he steps outside? That journey begins next. Power reveals its true scale when it begins to move, because at the highest level, it doesn't wait, adjust, or slow down. It reshapes the world around it. For Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, movement is not transportation, it is continuity. Whether in the air or on the ground, nothing about authority is allowed to pause. His private aircraft are designed as extensions of his domain, not as vehicles. Inside, life continues uninterrupted. Meetings happen mid-flight. Decisions are made above continents. Reflection and command share the same space. Distance becomes irrelevant when routine remains intact. That same philosophy follows him on land. Vehicles are never selected last minute. They are prepared, positioned, and waiting. In many destinations, cars arrive before he does. Familiar, secure, unchanged. Movement becomes frictionless, as if the world adjusts its timing to his presence. Security operates quietly in the background, planned but unseen. Routes are calculated, disruptions are removed before they exist. Even the city below can be bypassed entirely when helicopters lift him above it. But air and land only define part of this freedom. Because when control reaches its highest form, it seeks distance not from time, but from limits. And that journey doesn't end on the road or in the sky. Next, it moves to where boundaries disappear completely. What if luxury was no longer fixed to land, walls, or borders? What if it moved freely, answering only to the horizon? For Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the sea offers something no city ever can. Separation, distance, control without interruption. Here, luxury is not defined by location but by isolation. His superyacht is not designed as a vessel, but as an independent world. A floating residence where life continues without relying on anything beyond its own perimeter. Every space on board serves a purpose. Private suites provide retreat. Lounges allow quiet conversation. Open decks create space to breathe without being seen. Comfort, discretion, and security are balanced carefully, never competing for attention. This is not movement for display, it is movement for privacy. Equipped with its own helicopter access and supported by trained crews, the yacht eliminates the need for public ports, schedules, or crowds. Whether drifting near Dubai or crossing the Mediterranean, the experience remains uninterrupted, controlled, untouched. Out here, time behaves differently. Meetings happen beyond cameras. Family moments unfold without intrusion. The ocean itself becomes a shield, separating influence from exposure. A place where power can slow down without ever losing its presence. But even this level of freedom is not the end, because beyond palaces and open water lies something deeper. A legacy shaped by tradition, pride, and living symbols. And that is where the story moves next. For many leaders, wealth is counted. For others, it is displayed. But at the highest level, wealth is symbolized. For Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, power takes living form, not in numbers but in presence. Horses stand at the center of this world, not as possessions but as legacy in motion. Bred, trained, and managed on a global scale, they represent discipline refined over generations. Entire systems exist to produce champions, protect bloodlines, and uphold standards where excellence is non-negotiable. These are not pastimes. They are institutions built to endure. Falcons carry a different weight. Rooted deeply in Emirati culture, they embody pride, patience, and authority. Each bird is trained with precision, handled by specialists, and treated as a continuation of history rather than a display of status. Their presence reminds us that true power does not chase trends, it preserves identity. Beyond them, rare animals live within protected private estates, not showcased, not collected, preserved. Their environments are designed to mirror nature, reinforcing a different kind of dominance, one defined by stewardship, not control. Yet even these symbols are only part of the picture, because personal legacy is never the final destination. Next, the story expands beyond individuals, toward a vision that reshaped an entire desert into a global empire. True power is revealed not by what you inherit, but by what you create. And this is where the story reaches its highest scale. For Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Dubai was never meant to remain a desert city. It was a vision waiting to be executed. Decades ago, this land offered little beyond sand, trade routes, and ambition. But ambition alone was never the goal. Speed was. Precision was. Relentless execution turned empty horizons into a global destination almost overnight. Landmarks rose where nothing existed before. Infrastructure expanded faster than expectations could keep up. Every project followed the same unwritten rule: think bigger, move faster, deliver without hesitation. Yet what truly separates Dubai from imitation is not its skyline, but its design. This city was engineered to outlast dependency, built to thrive beyond oil. Fueled by real estate, global finance, aviation, and innovation working as a single system. Millions now live, work, and invest in a city shaped by long-term intent rather than short-term gain. When you step back and see the scale of what was created, the question becomes unavoidable. Does building an entire city redefine what wealth truly means? Because when power designs the future, ownership is no longer the metric. Control is.